The dark side of forgiving others. Here we raise another controversial topic from behind the veils of the hidden. My people, do you know what a STEM truth is? If I say that Christianity is a STEM truth, some will get it, but some may not. A STEM truth is to give to a lesser mind a truth, but only to the degree of its ability to conceive it. It is like using a crutch to hold up the person who cannot walk well until he becomes healed enough to start walking on his own, and then he will throw away that crutch and advance. For example, there are things that we now see as magic or superstition, but in fact, they are simple sciences that we are just not able to comprehend. Christianity is a layman way to explain certain aspects of the science of divinity to beings that have too little light to conceive it. 3D minds are not equipped to reason to the degree of fifth dimension, but things are changing. And when the light bearers are all the Christ of God come, it is always to raise the truth to the next degree for those who will comprehend. It will be a new dispensation. In the next 50 years, you will begin to see science advancing to the degree that some of your superstitions will be explainable. For example, you believe that the Akashic record is not real or that there is no possible means of all knowing. A helicopter had to mimic the needle case it set to fly. Mechanical robots have to mimic the human giants to move. You see that the internet mimics the universe at work, and you still don't realize the lessons in it. I have a task to put some of this magic in your hands, that you will see it in its practicality and make it the science it is, but only to the degree of that one other step towards the fifth dimensional intelligence. When Jesus did baptism by the river, and please do not question, it is recorded, but not in your King James Bible. When he did this baptism, he was trying to explain how sunlight and oxygen would be a part of the healing process. Baptism is not a 1 minute ritual. It takes an initial 3 months, followed by 7 years to complete, and it includes bodily purging to the degree that you are completely renewed physically as well as spiritually in 7 years. However, during all this time, you will advance in terms of 3 month progress, 6 months progress, 3 year progress, and the highest level after 7 years. 7 years you should have completed the course of baptism. You should become a new person. Your DNA should be transformed in such a way that not even sickness will know you. Everyone that was baptized in a 1 minute symbolic ritual in church backslid in one day, and that includes the baptizer, your preacher. Not one member of any one of your churches is truly baptized. If the members of churches were truly being baptized, sickness would be very unusual for them. Real baptism is your body, spirit, and mind working for absolution, and that is why it takes so long. Modern Christianity, modern Christian baptism is simply a cult of sluggards asking to be forgiven in a second instead of working to become better. Everything that you must change to make you better is unforgivable. I said everything that you must change to make you better is unforgivable. You can only work to change it. There is no other way. You cannot forgive the task at hand and it will go away. You don't go to work to look at the site, ask forgiveness, and then get paid. Everything that is the challenge will only be solved by hard work. It is unforgivable. You cannot forgive it and you cannot be forgiven of it. You cannot forgive a kleptomaniac and think that it helps. A cheater cannot ask for forgiveness and say the problem is solved. The only one solution is work and become better. Why forgive the drug addict who stole for drug and is still the addict and say it helps? Bring him to rehab and that might help. If the word forgiveness did not exist, the world would be a better place. When Yeshua, who was their master teacher at the time, wanted to explain the healing energy called oxygen, he had to explain it as the angel of air. That is a STEM truth. Today, you do understand the science of what he was talking about. The Christ of God is the highest spirit unique to no individual. All the Jesuses are the most mystical and learned shamans of all you ever saw on earth. They alone will bring certain knowledge that no other shaman or even science will tell you. This is because they have power to raise mass vibrations and they will be the pioneers that raise the masses to higher tasks. This is why they are always hated and ridiculed by the masses with the sheep mentality. As it was written in the book of Enoch about God's fiery house coming down with thunderings and lightnings and eyes, not windows, all around it. That was easier for less enlightened people to understand instead of trying to explain a spacecraft. So too is the story of Minorca cloning the human with DNA strand from the area of a rib. This process was explained to a T in the ancient book, but it was understood the way unenlightened people knew how to. It appeared in your Bible as God using Adam's Eve, Adam's rib to make Eve. I mean, this even changed from one of the gods using the DNA sample to God using the rib. These STEM truths must go away with higher knowledge. Today, I will try to expose you to a frequency-based STEM truth. It is a word that seriously affects frequency. I will tell you now that word is forgiveness. It is a word that seriously affects the frequency of the vibratory rate of man. I want you to take it very serious. At the higher degree of vibration, you can absolve and go higher. If you cannot conceive it, then stick to what you understand of it until it's time to raise you to that degree. I want to expose the higher meaning or higher definition of this circumstance so that you can dissolve and outgrow the word for higher interpretations. As long as you hold on to the STEM truth, you cannot raise higher. Why should you outgrow this word? Because transcending it will raise your vibration higher. Open your mind to a larger sphere, purify your spirit a lot more, and bring you closer to God. Truth is not a constant, it changes with circumstances. If it were not so, we would still say the earth is flat. Even the composition of some elemental materials will begin to change slowly with the slow change of energies. Even those truths will change. For example, some stuff that you used to cook for 5 minutes might begin to take 3 or 4. The room temperature in your country, where it was 86 degrees, might soon be 99. Truth is like a ladder. Yes, you must stick to that which you know until a higher one comes along. However, If you do not step up to that higher truth, you will stagnate. Stagnation in the universe is always consistently death. I know how many people continue to think I am ridiculous, and they will forever be the skeptic. And the many that sabotage and brought me the worst pains as their punishment to me while they play God. However, I still speak. Even when they see the proof of manifestation before them, they hold on to the disproven thing, but only know for a grudge as they determine to prove a point. I tell you that truth must change to higher light. Everything that progresses, progress in such a manner. My truth is that I shall never forgive them, but I will have no hate in me. I accept that which is pure and good, and I despise that which is evil. Outside of this, I am at peace with the world, and I try to do right by people. I understand that all of us are here to become better. I also understand that we all do good and bad. I have no reason to forgive you, and I shall soon explain why. My friend, if you think that you must forgive someone, then it is evidence that you judge them. But you should let God be the judge. Many will not get it even now, but just wait for now. What if you were walking and a tree fell in your path and made you late for work? Would you have to forgive that tree? Or would you just see it as one of those things? But what if you were walking and a lumberjack deliberately felled the tree into your path and made you late? Would you have to forgive that lumberjack? Why do you change here? You will say that the lumberjack knew better, but the tree did not. Why are you judging? The lumberjack is outside of you, just like the tree. None of them is your true judge, guide, or protector. None of them is your true judge, guide, or protector. God is, but you are afraid to judge him for failing you. Why? The lumberjack knew better, but his circumstances are his own, and only him and God will know them. Him coming into your energy is just the same as the tree that came into your energy. It is one of those things. There is nothing to forgive, but if you failed at something, work with God to make it better. People and things around you are not your responsibility. They all have their own circumstances, but where they cross you, God knows why. Nothing is a coincidence. However, if you have something to learn, please be a good student. I am telling you this because there is a danger in casting the blame, which higher evolved souls will understand. I know it is hard to figure, but if you can't, then it is alright. You have to peel away the emotion to even be able to consider approaching this level of growth. However, there is where you will receive the energy that I will only define as impermeable. It's a glorious joy at this degree. Thinking Thomas. You talk about thinking Thomas all the time, right? And thinking Thomas, the story of thinking Thomas actually came from the scriptures. Thinking Thomas was always thinking. He was the other he was with the other disciples after the crucifixion, and he was thinking again. He asked, what is truth? For the same things appear differently to different minds, and to the same mind at different times. What then is truth? Immediately Jesus appeared in the form of a hologram. They could see but not touch him. And he said, truth, one and absolute, is in God alone. He explained how the one light enters the crystal and now appears as many, where each person can see his unique light, even to the degree that it seems like the only truth, but at the same time it is the one light. With truth, many will see less or more than others. The one who is at the first step of the ladder will never see as much as that one who is higher. The man who has to explain oxygen as an angel of the air sees more than the man who understands it in that superstitious way. But the man who understands more is still climbing. So when he believes he is at the top of the mountain, he realizes that there was a higher peak, and he goes on and on and on, and there is always a higher truth. He always has to surrender a stem shoot to hold to a higher one. The reason that you have to give someone to forgive someone, the reason that you have to forgive someone is the same fact that will condemn you. It is your own condemnation to say that you have to forgive. This is a paradoxical truth, but I often said it. I want to open your eyes to a higher light. While the concept of forgiveness was useful at a lower degree, it was problematic where vibrations must be raised. We get so carried away that it becomes counterproductive. It has become a situation where everyone is looking to forgive or to be forgiven, as like using a band-aid on an internal wound. No one is working to better themselves anymore. If you need forgiveness, you operated at a lower degree. To heal yourself is more important than to have someone say, I forgive you. If you have to forgive, you operated at a lower degree, playing holier than thou in a world where we will all come short at some time. To heal yourself is more important than waiting for someone to be sorry. It is just like a child that did not study and failed his exams. When he goes to seek work, the employer forgives him for not having his subjects. Does that help? No, he will have to go back and better himself, receive those subjects, and come back again. If God keeps forgiving you and absolving the work to get you becoming better, then you will be going to hell and you will blame God for pampering you. God cannot forgive you. He can only accept you becoming better. If you steal from someone and God forgives you, you can steal from that person again. If you steal and then change, then it is better than being forgiven, for that ungodly deed will come from you no more. Why do you believe that Christians are so holier than thou and judgmental? It is because God will forgive them, and subconsciously it absolved their need to want to get better. As long as they can say, God forgive me, they think they do well, and that is why they keep repeating the offense forever. Never feel you have to blame the one that raised the hand against you. Simply learn the lesson and find out if you could have done something better. Seek out all your actions and you will find in them what God wanted to show you. Never feel like that person forgiving you is all. He can only say words to you that might not even stop the pain you caused him. Go and make sure you will never do such evil to anyone again. There is nothing to forgive, only lessons to learn and spiritual advancements to make. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace out.